Hello, this is Kristen Nichols with MJBiz, Hemp and CBD. I'm here joined by the Executive Director with the Hemp Industries Association, Jody McGinness, who's joining us from DC. Thanks so much for being here.
Hi, Kristen. Great to be here.
All right, so we talk every month. You can tell it's July for two reasons. One, my gladiolas are everywhere, all in. And July is commonly when new laws take effect in states. And so that makes it a topic of conversation this month to talk about. One thing I wanted to talk with the HIA about this month, one new law taking effect in Vermont, I think is interesting. It well, the law doesn't do this. Vermont has decided to, instead of overseeing hemp production itself, to say, you know what, we're going to go back to the USDA. They had a pilot program. Vermont is one of the older hemp states. They had a pilot program. Then they adjusted it to meet federal rules, got it approved just in December for this growing season. And then here we are before harvest, midsummer. Vermont's like, you know what, take it USDA. And they're at least the sixth state to do this. So my question for you, Jody, is, what do you think about states giving up oversight to the USDA? If I'm a hemp grower in one of these states, Vermont, for example, New Hampshire is also one of these states. Is it Georgia? Is it a good move or is it a bad move for the average grower or your members?
It really depends on your perspective. I mean, there are definite drawbacks. A lot of people don't appreciate the required federal background check that the USDA licensing requires, and just generally speaking, the application requirements are more onerous. But there again, it's at least a 2-year license, so it doesn't need to be re-upped every year. And to the extent that you can count on the USDA to have resources and people on hand to help, some states didn't benefit from that same level of support. So they might have an overall better experience. But the thing to really keep in mind is that the USDA plan only covers up to harvest. So states that do this are still in need of programs to manage processing and production. And what we're seeing is in some of those 6 states, Wyoming comes to mind, they don't have a plan for that. So right now, businesses and farmers in the state have no clear path forward for what they want to do if they want to, extract and produce products from hemp, because the state, in moving to the USDA plan, didn't go ahead and set up a processing regime.
You're doing all my work for me. That's so interesting and leads me to my next question. As Vermont punted away, again, cultivation oversight, you point out exactly correct. Once the plant's out of the ground, USDA wants nothing to do with it. What Vermont is doing is something that their neighbor New York is doing, and having one agency to oversee testing, manufacturing, and processing for cannabis at any THC level. That would include adult use marijuana and hemp, where some of the older states like Colorado, where I am, have different regulations or different, your health department does one thing and there's a separate marijuana piece, but that's not where hemp goes. I guess my question is it good for hemp to be kind of regulated with the same folks that regulate marijuana? Is that any sign for concern?
No, I mean, it's better than being mismanaged, but it's bad for hemp in a very fundamental way, because hemp is not federally illegal, and every state marijuana program has been constructed around handling and dealing with a product that is federally illegal. So you have, much more onerous than necessary regulations. You have super high taxes, and you have a very limited market because those states were working with a federally controlled substance. But hemp isn't that. And what we've seen in states that don't have those programs is that these products are wildly popular among consumers, and it turns out those states that didn't already set up MJ programs are seeing what happens if the federal government gets sane about cannabis, and only and this is what happens if they only get sane about 0.3%. So it's a missed opportunity to sort of push hemp into the marijuana category. And far more serious than that, to the long-term prospects for the industry, is that treating hemp like marijuana does a tremendous disservice to industrial hemp, to fiber and grain producers, many of whom, for whom the THC testing requirement is just an unnecessary burden. So we'd really like to see something like the certified seed effort move forward, or some sort of testing exemption to make sure that, especially in states where they have these highly regulated MJ markets, that the fiber and grain and seed for genetic sectors don't suffer.
Oh, so interesting. Yeah, keep us in the loop. Let us know if any states are kind of going that way. So I can see a lot of folks. That makes a lot of sense. Last thing I want to ask about is something that happened to your group, HIA. There's a new partnership with a CBD manufacturer or a cannabinoid manufacturer in Austin, Texas. Tell me about it.
Sure. Our member, Hometown Heroes CBD, is one of the top manufacturers and distributors of vape and hemp-derived cannabinoid products in the country. They're also highly supportive of veterans, with 1% of their proceeds going to support veterans causes, and as well as the artists who do their really unique artwork. A portion of their proceeds goes to support the artists that do their creative. So it's a great company that is intent on creating a hemp industry that is focused on opportunity, that is safe for consumers, that is grounded and regulated based on science. And in the spirit of that, as a member who wanted to try to bring the industry together to speak with one voice, they provided gift memberships to about 200 of their retail customers in 13 states, and gave them entry-level business memberships to the HIA in order to get them actively involved, because it really is small business owners, retail shops, and small family farms that are the heart of this industry. And that's who HIA members are. I mean, 95% of our members are at the sort of entry-level membership level, and that's who we want to represent. So he thought, given our long-standing defense of hemp, our willingness to stand up and take on the big fights like we have with the DEA, and our stance on the fact that, or our belief that the hemp-derived cannabinoids should remain federally legal, irrespective of what states do. We don't want to see any change to the definition of hemp that would recriminalize any part of cannabis. So those positions were in line with their own goals. It's why they've been an active and supportive member, and that's why they made the investment.
Well, that's great to hear. Well, that's a good way to end it. Thank you so much, Jody, for joining us in July. We will check back in next month and maybe get a preview as we approach harvest.
Beautiful, wonderful. It's great to see you again, Chris. Take care.
Thanks so much. Take care.
Bye.
Okay. All right. I'll shut it off. I'll get this to Demi, and I'll
bittersweet.
As I knew.
It felt bittersweet.
Oh, thanks. Oh. Yeah,
really
I don't know what they're
enjoyed the
gonna do. Oh, that's so nice. Thanks. Yeah, I don't know how these interviews have been performing for you guys. I'll make sure I get it in the in next week's newsletter. But yeah, keep us in mind if there's other things you think would be better. By the way, I super dig your new newsletter.
Oh, good. Which one? The Smart Brief?
Smart Brief, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. I mean, it's simple, but it's doing.
Oh yeah, that totally does. All right, that's great. And I read a bunch of crappy newsletters, and it is definitely really a good one.
Oh, great. Glad to hear it.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks so much, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Take care now. Bye, Chris.